We're back from our Wise Guy Wednesday, and I had a little helium myself. Thank you, Robert, and there's none left for you. But Matt says he found another balloon for
It's
you.
part 2 of today's lesson in sound waves and the speed of sound. We found out earlier that helium actually changes it, which is why Matt sounds like a mouse.
The pitch of the voice.
Right, so the helium changes the speed of sound, and that changes the pitch.
So if I wanted to sound more like, say, James Earl Jones, is there a gas that I could breathe that would slow it down?
I'll look into it.
Okay.
On the three.
So there's another way you can change the pitch of a sound, and that is if something is moving towards you when it's emitting a sound, you'll hear a higher pitch. If it's moving away from you, you'll hear a lower pitch. And we've probably all experienced this. If you just stand by the highway and a car drives by, the car kind of sounds like that. And that's because as it's moving towards you, you hear the car, and you hear a higher pitch sound than normal. If the car was just sitting in front of you, the motor would have a sort of in-between sound. As it's moving away from you, it sounds lower. And the reason this works is that as it's moving toward you, it's emitting waves all the time. But between the time that it emits one wave and the next, it's moved a little closer to you. So that wave doesn't have quite as far to get to your ear. And so I can illustrate that with this tank of water. We could sort of scoot in on this a little bit. Okay, so if I go like this, you see circular waves coming out at the bottom, little shadows like that. If I'm moving this thing like that, what you see on this side, the waves are closer together. On the other side, they're a little farther apart. So somebody sitting here would hear a higher pitch if these were sound waves than somebody on the other side. And I can illustrate this better with this little gadget. This is just a beeper that beeps at a frequency of 440 hertz, which I think is A. I'm going to turn this beeper on, and I'm going to swing it around like this. And
wave from...
You need to stand close, Matt. You need your microphone.
And then, so we need your microphone. You're going to hear the pitch changing. Do you hear it changing?
Yeah. Sounds a little like a bug.
Right, so it gets that kind of warbly sound, and the reason is when it's moving towards you, you hear a higher pitch. When it's moving away from you, you hear a lower pitch.
So if we're standing on opposite ends, he's going to be hearing high while I'm hearing low.
Exactly right, and this is how this Doppler radar works, because the radar waves bounce off things which may be moving, and you can tell if they're moving towards you or away from you, depending on the little frequency shifts that you get. Okay, so what does this have to do with sonic booms, you may be asking? And I'm going to tell you, okay, as you go towards somebody and the pitch gets higher and higher, as you go closer and closer to the speed of sound, all those sound waves get piled up in front of the thing that's moving. So, for example, if I push my finger through this thing really fast, what you see is a bunch of waves that kind of come off my finger in sort of a V-shaped pattern, just like when a boat goes through the water. That's because the boat is moving faster than the speed of waves in water. And so that's exactly how a sonic boom works. The sound waves get sort of piled up at the front of the plane, and they come off the back in sort of a V-shape, and when that wave crest passes you, you hear a boom. And that's what makes a sonic boom.
You may not know, on the internet you can find the pictures of planes that were snapped right at the moment of brakes, and the waves coming back across.
That's a very cool picture. That's one of my... Now, next week I want to talk about musical instruments.
Now, I got a demonstration of this in the break. This is cool.
This is very cool. And so I want to ask the viewers to send me ideas for things that are unusual that can make musical notes. And so I've given you one the other day. We had the wine glass that can make a note. Here's an aluminum rod, just from the hardware store. I just rosin up my fingers a little bit.
Yep, that makes some noise.
Isn't that the most annoying high-pitched squeal you've ever heard?
Pretty much.
And it's just an aluminum rod, and I can make it sing for me. So if people can send in suggestions for other weird things that can make musical notes, or just notes, this isn't very musical, then we'll send a T-shirt to whoever gets the most of those.
Okay, great. Matt Sellon on Wise Guy Wednesday on the morning show. Let's take a look at our sky cam. Quite a few clouds floating around this morning. Back with your weather in the threes in a minute.